this month we're going to be working on Silver Bells as voted on at the community over at the Patreon page, where every month we decide on a new song and we actually do a user vote to determine which song is going to be done for a tutorial. So if you haven't already, please check that out in the link below. But this month we did a vote on different Christmas and holiday music, and Silver Bells was the winner. So this arrangement's pretty fun. It's a bit more basic than some of the others that we've worked on, but like a lot of other Christmas music, it comes a little bit more easily because of our natural familiarity with it. Now Silver Bells is a little bit more of an obscure Christmas song, I think, than some others, but it was my grandmother's favorite piece, so I had a lot of fun doing this arrangement. I hope you enjoy it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. To start with this, there's a pickup bar, which means we're going to play only this single beat worth of music to start the first measure. And this song is in what we call 3/4, which is different than other things we've worked on. 3/4 is going to have 3 beats per measure instead of usually 4, which is the other most common type. So we start off with this 2/8 notes. We're going to play 3 on the A. We're going to use our ring finger for that. And then we're going to play 0 on the A. And that's the end of that first measure because, again, it's not technically the first measure. It's what we call a pickup bar. So the pickup bar will sound like... Now we go into measure 1. And when we do this, we're going to use our ring finger to play the 3rd fret of the E string. And we're going to play that and the 0 on the C string together. Now there's 2 main ways that we can play this. One is using any combination of 2 fingers, such as the thumb and index, or thumb and middle, or index and middle, to play those 2 strings. Now what I really like to use for this song is 4-finger picking and thumb picking. So I'll go between using 4 fingers, 1 finger per string, as well as the thumb. It's really fun with this song because you can really pick which ones you like based on the sound that you're looking for. And we actually did a video that covers these techniques that you can also click on the description below to see. And so for when we're working through this, you'll notice I'll be going between finger picking as well as thumb picking. So we'll play that 0 on the C and that 0 on the, or excuse me, the 3 on the E together. I'm going to use my index and middle for this. And then I'm going to remove the ring finger and play open on the E with open on the C as well. So the pickup measure now into that sounds like... Now the next part of this measure, we'll play 3 on the A again, then open on the A. And then we're going to do the same 3 on the E with the ring, same open. Now we move all the way up to 7 on the A string with our pinky. Then we're going to go down to 5 with our pinky. And then we're going to play 3 with the ring finger, adding our index finger on 1 of the E string. We're going to pluck those 3 strings, the C, E, and A strings, together. As we do this, again, we can go through with the thumb, we can pluck with these 3 fingers, or we can use our index, middle, and ring to do that. We'll then play our open A string, and we'll release our fretting hand, play the C, E, and A strings all open. So measure 3 sounds like this. Now as we go into measure 4, we're going to add our middle finger on 2 of the C, add our index finger here on 1 of the E, play the open A, play those 3 strings together. Then we're going to have a little bit of filler here. We're going to play the C string and then the E string on the 2nd fret and on the 1st fret where we already are. But then we're going to add our pinky finger onto the 5th fret of the A string. Now preferred is to keep these other 2 fingers here and stretch that pinky out so that these 2 can keep ringing as we're going through. Now that stretch can be a bit difficult, especially if you're playing a larger ukulele and you have smaller hands. But just like with anything like yoga, it's yoga for your fingers, you're working on flexibility, and with time it will become more easy. But if right now that stretch is a little too big, it's okay to remove those fingers. Then we're going to play 3 on the A with our ring finger. So measure 4 is... Going into measure 5, we play a G7 chord, which you'll notice, if we kept our fingers in position here, the ring finger coming on the 3 of the A. We still have our index here at 2 on the C, and middle here on 2 on the C, and index here on 1 of the E. I can just slide that ring finger down 1 fret now and play through that G7. Right? Then I can play my open G string. Now the last note of this measure is going to add the ring finger on fret 2 of the E string. So we're going to move it up to that 2nd fret on the E, leaving the middle here on 2 of the C. And then we're going to go back down to 2 and 1, which will be the middle finger and index. So measure 5 going right into measure 6 sounds like. And then moving forward, we're going to play the open G, then the 2 on the C and 1 on the E, which are already there. We'll then remove the middle finger, leaving the index finger where it is, play those 2 strings together, then remove the index to play the 0 on the C and the E. So when we get to this point, you can kind of hear it's where it starts a little bit of a repeat. So for some filler, we're going to play our open G and our open E, and then a G7 chord, middle finger on 2 of the C, index on 1 of the E, and ring here on 2 of the A, and then we play the open G. And at this point, it starts back to the same sort of section that we just played. So to hear this all, we're going to start at measure 1 and talk through this again just a little bit more quickly so that you can see how it all comes together. So starting at measure 1, or rather the pickup bar, we'll play the 3, then the 0, ring on 3, open, 3 on the A, 0 on the A, 3 on the E with the 0, 2 zeros, pinky on 7, slide the pinky down to 5, slide the ring finger down to 3 on the A, add index on the E string, open A, then all open, then 2 on the C, 1 on the E with our middle and index, play the 2 on the C, the 1 on the E, stretch the pinky out to 5 on the A, 3 on the A with the ring finger, strum through a G7, just sliding that ring finger down, open G, move the ring finger up to 2 on the E string, 2 and 1 on the C and E, so just taking off that ring, open G, 2 and 1 again on the C and E, and playing no middle finger on the C and 1 on the E, followed by open on the C and E, going into the filler, G and E both open, G7, open G. So the design there wasn't to be playing with me live the first time that you're working on it, but rather to be able to practice that section and make sense of it, making sure that you're getting efficient fingering as you're going through it, right? So now at this point, as it goes through, it repeats almost the exact same part again. So when we look at starting here at measure 8, the end of 8 is the same as the pickup bar. So it's going to play the 3 and then the 0. And the measure 9 is the same as 1. 10 is the same as 2. And then 11 is the same as 3. All the same so far. Now right here is where it changes. So now we're at measure 14. And when we look at this change, what's going to happen, play the open G, and we're going to then slide our fingers up. And we're going to essentially be taking a G7 shape and expanding it. So our middle finger will be here on 5 of the C, our index finger will be here on 3 of the E, and our ring finger will be here 5 on the A. We're going to pluck those 3. And then we're going to go to a C chord. And when we go to the C chord, we're going to use our index finger just because of its proximity here, so that we can just move that finger down 1. And then 0 on the C, 0 E, 0 G, 3 on the A, 0 G, and then we're going to move our index finger down to 1 on the E, play 0 on the C, 1 on the E together, open G, zeros together, open G, zeros together, 1 on the E with the index, and then 3 on the E. And this is where the melody really starts here at 17. So working into 17, 15, and 16 sound like. And then going into 17, we have the actual silver bells. Then G, or C and G strings played, both open as filler. So, and then going into 18, we've got more filler. We're going to play a C7, index finger here on 1 on the A string, open G, open E. So 17 and 18. Now we're into measure 19. We're going to play an F chord with just our index finger here on the first fret of the E string. We're going to strum the C, E, and A, or pick, doesn't matter. 2 on the A with our middle finger, 3 on the A with the ring, then 1 on the E, which should already be there, and 0 on the C. Then we're going to leave our ring finger here on 3 of the A, and we're going to move our index to be up on the 2nd fret of the G string, and middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the E string. So this makes a little bit of a D7. It's kind of a form off the Hawaiian D7. There's no actual D note in it, but it's functioning as a D7. So we strum through that, and the G, and then the E string. So measure 19 and 20 sound like this. Going into 21, we're going to play a G7 chord, middle, index, and ring fingers on the C, E, and A. Play the 2 on the A again. Slide the ring finger up 1 fret to 3 on the A. Then we're going to slide to that same little shape that we used before, the 0, 5, 3, 5, where our ring finger and middle fingers stretch out to the 5th fret of the C and the A strings, with C with our middle finger and A ring, and our index finger is going to be here on the 3rd fret of the E string. So we strum through that. And then we're going to play 3 on the A, and then 2 on the A, both with the index finger. So we're going to kick that finger down, and then we're going to play through a C chord. So that sounds something like. And then we're going to play the open G, then the 3 on the A. Then we're going to move to a G7 chord with our middle, index, and ring finger. Play the G string, then the E string. Now here at measure 25, it's going to be basically the same as it was on measure 17. Going all the way through. Now here at 30 is where it's just a little bit different. We're going to strum through that 0, 5, 3, 5 with our middle finger on the C string, index on the E string, and ring finger on the A string. And then we're going to slide it down, making sure that these fingers don't leave the fretboard as we make the slide, with the middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the C string, index finger here on the 1st fret of the E string, and ring finger is going to stay on the 3rd fret of the A string. Then we're going to slide the ring finger down to the 2nd fret to make it a G7. Then we go to a C chord. Now in the first repeat of the song, we play the C chord, and we play an open G, then an open C, then a G7 chord, and then it basically starts back over the song with that pickup measure, right? You can see the pickup measures built into measure 32. So 30, 31, and 32 should sound like. And it goes right back into the beginning of the song. So what's cool is that essentially doubles the length of this song. You'll notice in the playthrough I did at the start, I actually skipped this repeat just because I think that the song, I like it a little bit shorter, but it's good to practice with that repeat. Gives you extra time to practice going all the way through the song. But let's go ahead and jump now to the second ending. So how this works is when you're playing through it, you go all the way to measure 31 in the second run through, but you notice how it's got that little 1 for a first ending. We instead jump to the second ending, which will be here at measure 33. And here at measure 33, we're going to play a C chord. Then we're going to play open G, open C, open E, 3 on the A, open G, so very basic there, to a G7. We're going to play 3 on the A. And then we're going to slide this G7 shape up to this little B diminished 7. I love this chord. So middle finger here, 5 on the C, index here on 4 of the E, and ring here on 5 of the A. We're going to play our C, E, and A strings together. And I like to hold this, even though it's only written as a quarter note. Just let it hold for a little bit, and then strum through a C chord to end the song. Pretty cool. So that end section should sound something like. So that's the entire arrangement, and it's a fun one to play. It's not super difficult. There are a couple transitions in there that might be new and can make it a little bit more tricky when you're first learning it. But this one's really designed to get our fingers moving with these shapes and kind of sliding them to different positions. And so really important when you're working on this to just be sure that you're using the same fingerings I am in this video. That'll help set you up to be able to play it proficiently. So I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Again, if you wouldn't mind checking out my Patreon page, if you haven't already, the link's in the description below. There you can find the entire tabs for this, as well as other different songs that we've done tutorials with. We do a live lesson every month too, and I'm excited for this month's, where I'm actually going to be adding some extra stuff to this song. So something a little bit different. We're going to add some layers onto it for some high harmony parts and things. It should be a lot of fun. So please check it out if you haven't already. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I can't wait to see you guys soon.